Hey y'all, this is Daniel. Welcome to Blunt Talk, where we talk about nothing but the truth. This is episode four, the fourth installment of the series. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. You guys have given me good feedback. You guys have been playing the on SoundCloud. You guys have been viewing it on YouTube, and you guys have been liking my product so far. So I'm really happy with that. I'm gonna keep pushing to make more videos and more audio content for you guys, and that's pretty much it. Today's episode is one of my cousins from my Mexican side of my family. We're gonna be talking about soccer, and no other person to talk soccer than one of my experts right here, my cousin Martin. What's good, Martin?
What's good, Danielle? How you doing?
How we doing? I mean, I'm doing fine. I'm chilling. I've been doing some homework, and trying to finish up the semester online, pretty much.
Okay. That's good, man. I'm happy for you. Really
hmm
great.
How about you? How about you? How's it been going with like being a teacher and like dealing with this whole quarantine and have to do with like online teaching stuff?
It's a different world, man. It's a really different world. It's a new adventure for me. Teaching online is like having expectations for kids who are still in high school trying to do college, almost concepts. Work,
hmm
but working online versus in person, it's hard.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely. I would say so that as me as a student, I can see from your perspective. Plus, my mom, she's a teacher too. I see the struggle that you guys go through being a teacher, and I can't even imagine how difficult it is for my teachers as well.
No, for sure, for sure. But
hmm
it's definitely, a new adventure that I'm excited to be a part of. And, like when I went to college, dude, I didn't think that a year after getting my master's that this would be my next adventure.
yeah, this is very unprecedented. Like I feel like the whole pandemic and everything that's been going on right now is like never before seen. So it's everyone's like in the learning curve or learning stage, however you want to call it. It's like
No,
we're all in this
exactly.
together pretty much.
Exactly.
So
You're
like
good.
mhm. I feel like everyone gets a free pass with certain things. Like if a teacher didn't post something, or if a student, like you know what I mean. I feel like since everyone's going through it together, people acknowledge that, and it's like another benefit from it at least. From like, because I've heard like there's certain teachers that don't even give any more assignments for the rest of the semester to the students. They're like, bro, we're in a pandemic. I don't want to make your life even more difficult. Just like things like that. And there's teachers that are just doing like different. They switched up their whole syllabus. It's like everyone's doing something different. So that's the one thing I can take away from this. But so you're out in Manassas. How's that been going for you during this quarantine and everything?
It's been going good, man. It's been good. I mean, like I told you, Primo, it's a new adventure for me. Like I finally moved out of my parents' place. It's my first place I've had on my own. So it's awesome.
hmm
And I get to walk to work. So I get, what's better way to help the economy, your own pocket, the environment. I mean, I can't think of a better way to start your first apartment on your own.
That's right.
Though, so I guess I'm not technically on my own.
Okay. Okay. And how is like everything with like the coronavirus pandemic going like in Manassas? Like, is like I'm assuming they're taking like the right actions and like just doing things like limiting people in certain places like the grocery stores and things like that.
So I live in like the heart of Old Town Manassas, and it's a very small rural Americana town. And the city has taken a big, stance on social distancing. However, there's a lack of equity in our little city that we live in, and a lot of businesses have closed up. They're not even going to compete. I know a lot of these guys didn't get the loans from the that $5 billion package that was passed through, through
hmm
Congress just to support these small businesses. So it's a different world. I have been helping out, the local community too and take out here and there, but
Okay.
it's different, man. It's different. Like
Yeah.
it's very quiet out here. All I hear are the fire trucks and there's a train that passes through here, and that's
Oh wow. Wow. That's crazy. Down over here, like we're back in Northern Virginia, like it's all been pretty much like everyone's taking action of it. There's not like Florida and California where I see people going to the beach. Like you had heard like I don't know if you heard that in Virginia Beach there were like people going to the beach like a couple weeks ago.
I mean that's down in Florida too, man.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Like
Yes.
all over the country, like people. It depends. Like I feel like it's been a much regional thing that like the seriousness factor that like people are applying to it. Like down in the south, they're taking this as another flu, and then like north states in the north like getting heavily affected, like in New York, Jersey, Connecticut, like up there, like they're taking very much more like what's the word? Not repercussions, more action. They're just taking more action on the situation, which is very interesting. And like I think it's really crazy. I don't know what your thoughts are on like how Donald Trump gave like the authority to like each state's governor to decide when to open accordingly?
I mean, I don't want to get too political into your
Yeah.
podcast. I mean, like, it's a very Republican concept. They believe that taking away less power from the federal government is better for the people of America and putting power in the states. I mean, that's what our Constitution derives from. But what's the point of having a federal government and being the president if you're not going to support the people?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a crazy idea to deal with, like, because there's also people keep forgetting there might be a second wave at the same point. So that's definitely something that, like, in the future we'll have to see how it goes on. Because as we talked about earlier, this might not end anytime soon. It might end soon. Who knows? Right now we're all in the same boat and we're all dealing with it together. And not just in the country. Other countries are dealing with this as well. So it's really crazy. And the one thing that I think is really key to point out is, like, never in the history of our planet have we all like been in a situation like this.
I agree. This is new waters for everybody. It's a new time. It's very, like you said, unprecedented. But the second wave will come, and hopefully it'll have an impact on sports in some way. And I wonder how that will play out.
When do you think like sports will be back on like a timetable? Like, what's your opinion on that?
I mean, in Holland, the Dutch have already canceled the league. It's indefinitely canceled. No chance.
The Eredivisie, whatever it's called.
I think it's like the ever DCA, something like that. They just completely canceled. No champions can be crowned. Nobody gets trophies, as if it never happened.
Really? I actually didn't hear about that.
Yeah, that came out a couple of days ago. Bundesliga said they're coming back in May, but no fans. Spain is going to force their team.
I heard about Spain that they're like no fans until like December or January or whatever.
Some of that until the next year, though. I mean, it'll be interesting. MLS is completely canceled, which is a bummer. I definitely do wonder after seeing the NFL draft, how they're going to do, the draft for the MLS, because no one got to play.
That is a good point.
They got to do some part of their season. With hockey.
I feel like soccer is a sport that really got affected by this because the MLS was just starting. It was like, for example, this like in the league in America, they were just starting. It wasn't even like 1 or 2 weeks of the season. Baseball is another sport that really got affected because just into their spring training, they didn't even get to finish their preseason, man.
They didn't even get to start this season.
Exactly. And then teams like sports like NHL and NBA were about to finish the season and start into the playoffs. That's NFL got lucky in the situation where they got the biggest timetable, if that even makes sense. To like, okay, we do the draft. Okay, our off season's done. Okay, we can prepare for free. Like they have the most time out of all the sports. MLB was about to start. They got screwed over. NHL and NBA. Well, now we got to figure out if we're even going to have a playoffs, finish the last couple games of the season, all this. And, like, another thing that's very important, like, you know how, like, in American sports at least, like, and not sports in all the world, like, the way a season works is very structural. Like, things like the transfer market in soccer. Like, it's usually July, August, and then, the winter in January. This could have some implications that can, like, affect it in the future.
I mean, this has a big monetary value on all sports. I mean, the revenue they produce just from broadcasting is hurt in all sports businesses. The value for each athlete is being damaged for each individual in each team. The value network of that team or the franchise is going to be diminished. I mean, you have people that really love these games. I mean, Champions League is most likely going to be canceled.
That's sad. That's really sad in my opinion.
It's a lot of things that we enjoy as, just average, typical Joes here in the USA. We love sports, and it's something we all like to do. And, after a long, hard day, maybe at 3 or 4 o'clock when you come home on the evening, the first thing you want to do is tune in to watch some soccer or maybe football or something. Unless you're and then so every day, it's like every hour.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. It's like it's very it's a big impact to the culture and like the way that our society works here in the States. Like we're we're a country that really cares about sports. So like
we're consumers.
It's affecting us because think about like ESPN, for example. They really have no content, and now they're like depending on like NBA players doing horse competition or like players like professional athletes playing their video game or like things like that.
Everybody's doing esports for charity. Well, you know what? It's good. I'm really happy they're doing the charity stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody really, unless you're like a video game enthusiast, A lot of us don't really spend much time on Twitch, and we're not gonna watch other people play video games. We can just turn on our own console and play ourselves.
Hmm. That's a good point. I've been playing a lot of video games because of quarantine. I'm not gonna lie. I've been getting more into it. I actually got EA access, so I have NHL now. I'll give anyone the work in NHL. My FIFA. I started my FIFA career mode finally. I got signed by Barcelona, so I'm working on that. And I've been playing a lot of 2K. A lot of 2K. I'm just getting buckets up, honestly. Yeah. How about
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
yeah,
I've been playing a lot of FIFA.
FIFA? Yeah. You heard that
Yeah, I mean,
Trent
it's my addiction.
Alexander Arnold? Did I say his name right? Trent Alexander Arnold won like a FIFA tournament the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's really cool because like the leagues are
yeah,
taking
yeah. No, I
incentive
did. I
now.
saw people Sterling.
But they're really taking incentive now, and it's like it's actual push for
Did
like
he win the whole tournament for that?
yeah, he won the whole tournament. He beat I forget who he beat in the final, but the Sterling one was the semifinals, right? I'm pretty sure. But yeah.
I think you're right. Yeah, because it's the Man City versus Liverpool actually playing against each other.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, that must have been the semifinal. I think it was someone in the Spurs that went in the final against Trent Alexander-Arnold. So I'll look
It's
it up
pretty dope.
later
I
and we'll
mean,
see. Hmm?
fun game, dude.
What? FIFA?
FIFA's a fun game.
FIFA's really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really like back and forth type pace, and it's really quick too. Because no one plays like long games of FIFA. FIFA is normally like a 6 minute half type ordeal. At least for me. I don't know if you play FIFA with like more. Mhm.
There's
So
some people that play really well and I can put 7 goals past you.
easily, bro. I played online and like the FIFA community is very like non-considerate. I'll say that they show no mercy at all, bro. They'll score 10 goals on you and then still celebrate with like the dab or anything. But what music have you been listening to like this quarantine though?
Um, I've been listening to a lot of. I've listened to the new Travis single with Kid Cudi. That one's pretty good. Scott's. That
Mhm.
one I've been. And then Righteousness by Juice World. You know, R.I.P. to
Rest in peace, yeah.
but that Righteousness song really touches.
Righteousness. I have not heard that one. I'll check it out. You did send me the other day the the Scott song with Kid Cudi. I like the song a lot. It was a good beat, and then like the verse for Travis Scott was good. And Kid Cudi, I have not heard him rap in a minute. I'm not going front, yo. I was intrigued to see him on the feature.
No, I agree, man. I mean, Kid Cudi doesn't typically rap. I think we haven't heard him rap to like the Pursuit of Happiness, man.
That is a good point because he's been doing like singing slash R&B or whatever you would like to call it. Honestly, he's in like in his own like world. I like to like classify him because like he's been trying to be artistic. Is like the last project I've ever heard from Kid Cudi was the Kitsy Ghost project he had done with
That one's good.
Kanye. That was really good.
That
It
one's
was a really
good.
good project. But I
Kiss Me
remember
Ghost
Kid Cudi
sometimes.
most what? My bad.
Ghost, yeah, Ghost. That's what it's called.
Kitsy Ghost or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. That one's good.
It's really good. But I don't know about you. I mostly remember and like basically heard of Kid Cudi for like Day and Night and like those the projects that he had at first. I was a big Kid Cudi fan when he first came out.
You like the song Cleveland by Kid Cudi?
That sounds familiar, but I actually can't put my name to it, honestly.
I'll send you the links after this podcast, but it's one of his more like underground tracks. It's like maybe like 2009. I don't remember. It's like
Okay, yeah, yeah. But like old Kid Cudi is the one I remember mostly. So like hearing him come back to like different tracks and features is always surprising for me. It always catch my eye. But
you see his new hairdo?
where he did the interview on
No, it's new hairdo.
his hairdo? Oh, I have not seen his hairdo at all. What do you mean? Like he changed it up?
Yeah, dude, he dyed that stuff green and pink.
Green and pink. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
that sounds ignorant, yo. So the first topic that we're going to discuss on the podcast today is going to be one of the greatest debates in the sport of soccer is who's the GOAT of our generation or of just like the 2000s, 2010s, however you want to call it. Cristiano Ronaldo or Lionel Messi. So the biased soccer fan that I am, without actually doing research, I would say Ronaldo's better. But it's a hard take, honestly. You gotta look at it very in depth and like the whole accomplishments that they all did in like both club and like internationally. Because in soccer is the one true sport where like you have to take into account what they did for their club and what they did for their country. Because like in a sport like basketball, sure, like he can be a good player for whatever country he's from, but like they don't pay attention to things like that.
I agree. I agree.
Hmm.
You got two individuals. One, both of them are athletes. Ronaldo is what you'd get from hard work and nonstop dedication to a sport. He's literally LeBron James, in my opinion.
He is. He's much more of a LeBron James type
He's
player.
a once in a lifetime generational phenomenon. He's like Pele. He is remarkable with his abilities. I mean, you can't doubt what he has done is crazy. No athlete in my experience that I've lived to observe has been able to achieve what Lionel Messi has achieved. I mean, he's won the most Ballon d'Oros. He scored the most goals at his age currently, which is about 32. Ronaldo could not even compete with that at 32. Ronaldo is ahead by a couple of goals, but Ronaldo is Mr. Champions League goal. I mean,
That is a good point. Ronaldo has performed more like in the Champions League than in the league for that specification. I was looking it up earlier, and like I mentioned it to you earlier, Messi has a career total of goals of 438, while Ronaldo has 440. The difference at this point is 2 goals. That is insane. Not only that, an assist, the one that's the clear winner would be Messi. Messi's got 175 assists, while Ronaldo's got 143 assists in his career so far.
I mean, Messi is a playmaker though, and
He
Ronaldo.
is. He's more of a playmaker. I would say like Messi. Messi has been a player that has been able to play as a striker, as a center forward, as a right wing, as a right forward. He's been very versatile in that. But he's always been, no matter the position he plays, he'll get you an assist. He's just that good. He's really good at finding the open person.
So here's my question for you, because you're a Ronaldo, enthusiast. Do you take young Cristiano Ronaldo back when he was at Sporting and Manchester United, or do you take older, more experienced when he was
Ooh,
at Madrid and
that's
you?
different. That's difficult. That's difficult because in Sporting he didn't do much. Let's like first off in Sporting,
What do you mean he didn't do much? He's
I
got a
mean, okay, all right,
big
but like I
contract
mean,
with Manchester United by Sir Alex Ferguson.
statistically, he had 6 goals and 5 assists for his whole time in like the in Sporting.
That's true, but he did get to be signed as a teenager.
That is true. No. That's what I mean. Like he didn't do much statistically speaking, but like he got signed for a hefty fee and to a Manchester United sign that at the time was like, oh wow, Ronaldo's that last piece we needed. Oh, we're gonna be like top of the league, nonstop, back to back, like Drake. Like, bro, they got Ronaldo at a young age and they helped him become. If it wasn't for Manchester United, I feel like Ronaldo would have not been the player that he is today solely for the purpose that that's where he got majority of his like development and training, and it helped him for the spotlight. I was looking it up earlier, and Manchester United he had a total of 292 games. He
Mhm.
scored 118 times. That's not fully, but like it's almost a goal like every 2 games.
I agree. I agree. I mean, like, a lot of people will say this is, rubbish, but the argument is pretty simple. Who's the GOAT of this generation? You have Cristiano Ronaldo, who goes to 4 different clubs, and out of the 4 clubs, he leaves one of them setting an all-time goal-scoring record, destroying the players that have played like Lionel Messi, meaning that they are one club, player.
Hmm.
Player have you ever observed go to one club, break the goal-scoring record in less than he did? I think he was at Real Madrid for like 8 years, less than 10 years, and like just shatter it.
Yeah, it was about like eight,
I mean,
7 years.
like it's ridiculous. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
anything really at Juventus besides maybe add more silverware to his agenda. But Lionel Messi did the same thing too at Barcelona. But his record compared to number 2 in that club is crazy. It's like Alan Shearer in the Premier League. Like no one has passed his goal scoring tally since like, the early 2000s. I mean, Ronaldo's a beast.
Yeah.
But
That's the one thing with Messi's got that record that I mean, because you're saying that Messi wasn't able to break it because it's because the guy that's in front of him is just way like miles ahead, right? That's what you're saying.
no, so Lionel Messi's the guy miles ahead.
Oh, wow.
Miles
Okay,
behind.
okay. So I mean, there's
Does that
still
make sense?
yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I understood what you meant with Juventus now. Messi, I like that's the one thing I really do love about Messi. He's been like loyal to Barcelona since the day he signed, and apparently he had signed it like on a napkin, his original contract.
Yeah, because he was in Argentina. I think it was what was I forget the name of the club, but he got signed at like a kid.
Hmm
He
I
like
think that was pretty crazy. That's like they were like so like, oh my god, we got signed. We don't got an actual contract. Like grab a napkin, let's get it. Like that's like the urgency that they're like Messi's gonna be a stud, and he's
yeah,
been a
for sure.
stud. He's been a stud.
Yeah,
Like in his Barcelona career, he's played 718 games, scored 627 goals.
basic goal a game.
That's basically a goal per game. Now that's the one thing that I don't like about Ronaldo, which I will admit. He's played in a lot of clubs, so it's like he's got to get accustomed or whatever. I don't take that at all. Like, sure, get accustomed, but if you're that great of a player, a new system, like you gotta produce. You gotta produce. Like from Manchester United when he scored 118 goals, he obviously wasn't there for as long as the time that he was in Real Madrid, but he scored 450 goals in Madrid. And then in Juventus, he hasn't been that productive. Obviously, he's older now.
Oh yeah, he's like 34 or 35 now.
I think. What do you think about Ronaldo moving to Juventus? I didn't understand it nor liked it that much. Me
I mean,
personally.
it was a move he had to do because what's the name of the Carlos Perez or something? I don't remember. The president of the Real Madrid franchise really was pushing for him out, almost like Bill Belichick with Tom Brady. I mean, these are these type of athletes that have to make the right decision to save their career. This move was like Tom going to Tampa Bay. I mean, he had to do what was right. I mean, Juventus was the next big thing he can do. It's the biggest club in Italy. They were winning every single title, and if they win it again, they would win it for a full decade. But now, coronavirus, you don't know if the season's going to end. But still, like this is all he's going to do. People linked him with Manchester United return, but obviously it wasn't going to happen. Like the current manager and him weren't seeing eye to eye. He's already having bad trouble with their star-led player, who most likely will join Cristiano at Juventus. I mean, things are all up in the air, but Ronaldo isn't the player he was before. But I don't think he's going to produce anything else unless he gets that super sub teammate, kind of like Kyrie Irving for LeBron James.
That's a good point. Ronaldo needs another like superstar level person that can take off like the pressure and like the responsibilities off Ronaldo, like Kyrie did for LeBron. That's a good point that I didn't think about.
I mean, like the only player he has who's closest to his caliber is Pablo Dybala, and he plays for Juventus in Argentina. So he gets the pleasure of playing for both with Messi and the country.
Which is pretty cool. You can say you can play with Messi and Ronaldo.
The only other Argentine player to do that are Gonzalo Higuain and
Di Maria, right?
Di Maria. But Higuain plays with Ronaldo still at Juventus, and Di Maria plays in Paris Saint-Germain.
I keep forgetting about Di Maria because like he didn't work out in Manchester United.
Hey, but he got to play with a bunch of players. He got to play with Wayne Rooney, Neymar, Ibrahimovic, and Messi. You can't say you've never done that in your resume.
Oh, I'm not trying to like diminish the fact. I'm not saying that Di Maria is bad because he's still like I think he's still producing in PSG. But like I don't know. I feel like he kind of fell off from like the pedestal, like from like being like a top tier person. It's kind of like an Alexis Sanchez type situation.
Alexis Sanchez is more like the Titanic. He left Arsenal. His career just went rock bottom. Like that Manchester United move was garbage. That was like Italy playing for Inter Milan.
Yeah. But he doesn't even get played time in Inter Milan, does he?
I don't know. I mean, he has to compete. There's a lot of good pplayers in Inter Milan now.
That's Inter Milan did like a whole turnover. Like now they're stacked. They are stacked a bunch. Like, bro, they got talent for days. And the defense, they got Stefan De Vrij, Milan Skriniar, and they got Diego Godin. What the heck, man? In FIFA, they're all over 87 rated. And center backs in FIFA, if it's over 87 rating, you're like, oh, God. Like,
I mean, they're rock solid players. Like in the game, they're slow as shit, but in real life, they do their job. But one thing I like about Inter Milan, last year they had a striker named Icardi, who now plays in Paris, who was a beast.
He's a beast.
And then they get Romelu Lukaku from Manchester United, who everybody thought was garbage. And look, they brought him back from the dead as if they're like some like witch.
That's true. His career's been revitalized in Inter Milan. I will say that.
Yeah. Goal scoring beast. I mean, I felt bad for like his little incidents where he had racist moments with the fans, but like he really been pushing through. And he's a true leader. I mean, recently he got himself in trouble with speaking out against the club. Apparently,
Really?
he claims that like every single teammate of his in Inter Milan got infected with COVID-19.
Oh, I read about that. Oh,
And
wow.
because
I
they
saw
don't.
the Bleacher Report article about that.
Yeah, Bleacher Report. I thought that was really interesting. He spoke up, and then the club said that is false.
Damn. I don't know. That might be like a Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell type thing that Inter Milan might be like, all right, so should we keep this guy? Should we?
That's what I'm saying. Last year they got rid of Icardi after he scored all their goals.
But Icardi, he's on a loan deal, though, so he'll still technically come back. It's just not certain if they'll keep him.
I doubt they'll keep him. Like the bridge was sank. It was sunk because of the relationship between him and the fans. He even was the captain too, and then they stripped him of captaincy.
Okay. I didn't know all that extra information. Then we'll have to see. But going back into like the whole debate, one thing that you have to mention with Messi is sadly his struggles internationally.
I mean, yeah, he has come second place almost his whole career internationally. He has left the Argentine trophy cabinet only with dust, just like Tottenham does every year.
Shots fired to Tottenham, yo.
And I love Liverpool, but I feel bad for him. If this year's league is canceled, they'll have no trophy. But back to Messi, he has not done what he needs to do for the club. That defeat in 2014 to Germany sucked.
Yeah. That wasn't a good game. That actually wasn't that good of a game. I saw it. And wasn't.
And against France 4-3 in this past World Cup in the semis, that one hurt.
But I feel like Messi's at fault for the reasons that his team has. All right. So Argentina's a country that develops world-class strikers and attackers and attacking midfielders and wingers. Like you can go on for days, like Higuain, Aguero, Dybala. Like you know what I mean? They're really good and exceptional in that positions or like that area of the field. Where they struggle for years now is with their defense. It's atrocious, bro. And their goalkeepers have not been like any decent at all.
No, they haven't, but they played really well. I mean, you got to look back. Sergio Romero, who used to maybe he still plays for Manchester United. Maybe
He's not at United anymore.
He was crap. But his performance in the 2014 semis against Holland and that penalty shootout was remarkable.
That was good. That's good. Oh, wow.
Out of the 5 that were taken, and that's what took Argentina to the final where they would lose to Germany. But I mean, you have to give it to them. Like Argentina and Germany were both at their peak. The difference is that when Ronaldo was expected to deliver, he leads either by scoring goals or by being the captain. And Messi has failed. Yeah, we can argue that he is good and maybe his teammates suck, but the point is, you will get the heat if you're the captain and the best player on your team.
That's a good point. Because Ronaldo, I feel like if you compare both Portugal, because that's Ronaldo's country, and if you compare Messi with Argentina, like Argentina has like the step up and like talent wise compared to Portugal. Because besides Ronaldo,
I wouldn't say that.
But I know I say like on paper, like any type of turn, like just like assuming like if you have both teams playing, you would assume that okay, Argentina might score. It could be like a draw, or it could be like Argentina wins like 2-1 or something. At least that's how I view it.
So on paper, it looks black and white, but the thing is this: Argentina has a bunch of athletes that are great at their clubs. Internationally, coaches call the wrong players. Portugal has a lot of terrible players when we were observing them for the clubs, and whoever the manager was at that time, which I don't remember off the tip of my tongue, was doing a fabulous job calling the right players to play for the country. Mm-hmm. Now there's a lot of Portuguese, stars. You got Semedo, who plays a right back, who plays for Barcelona.
He's really good.
Got Renato Sanchez, who's like 21, used to play.
Bernardo Silva.
You got Bernardo Silva from Manchester City.
Goncalo Guedes, the guy in Valencia.
You got him. You got Quaresma, the older, ex wannabe Ronaldo, the guy who's all tatted up playing in Turkey.
Quaresma's still pretty decent. I'm not going front. You get like João Moutinho, who's a better presence. You get Ruben Neves. He's a youngling that's coming up.
He is. There's a bunch of players from Wolverhampton Wanderers, the Portuguese, that are really good.
They're basically a Portugal team. That's the joke.
They became good because of their international fame, though. That Euro in 2016.
16.
It was great, but it fired up France to win the World Cup, though, which
it did. That's a good point. Because France was hosting it in 2016, and then they lost in the final against their home country. You can't tell me that's like a chip on
Listen,
your
it wasn't
shoulder.
that they lost in their own country. It was that they took out Ronaldo. Payet took out Ronaldo, and they still lost.
That's true. I forgot
Against
about that.
Ronaldo, he was crying, he got stretched off, but then led like a captain. And
You know who scored that goal? Do you remember who scored the goal?
Eder, he plays for Russia now.
He plays in some team in Russia. I know that.
Well, that was his highlight of his career.
That's probably I was about to say. Besides that, no one remembers Eder for anything.
Not at all, not at all. But I mean, yeah, to settle the argument once and for all, I think both of them are equally good.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're comparing apples and pears, they're both in their own lane.
Yes.
We must agree that we had the privilege as millennials or generation, whatever you are, to watch these players. I mean, I got to watch the end of Ronaldinho. And the reason why he's hit rock bottom is because of drugs, alcohol, and just lack of discipline. Messi and Ronaldo have the discipline, except for the tax evasion. You know, that really.
That's all. That's
that though, they just have terrible choices in accountants.
I couldn't have said.
I'm just saying, dude.
Yeah. I couldn't have said that any better.
But they can't count their money, apparently.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting because Ronaldo's like nowadays like the most monetized on social media athlete. I don't know if that's the way to word it, but like he makes the most money out of any athlete on Twitter and Instagram and all the other social medias.
I mean, he's a winner, dude. He's a winner. He's a winner. Whatever mark you give him, he will win. Even if it's off the pitch, he'll try to get whatever it is. He doesn't care.
He does not care. He's like very driven to be successful both on the field and off the field. That's one thing. Messi, I feel like he's more chill, even though he's got like the lifetime Adidas contract and all the other stuff. But like, I'd say extrovert, introvert. You know what I'm trying to say? Like Ronaldo, Messi, like in that sense. But I agree. I feel like it's kind of like a Michael Jordan, LeBron James type debate. Like they don't. First off, they don't play the same position.
Yeah.
But it just happens because it's like they're the two greatest players that we've seen at least in like our lifetimes. So like you just have to argue and debate about it. You can make a good case about both of them, but at the end of the day, you honestly can't go wrong with any of them too. That's how I view it.
Here's my last question: who was the greatest player in La Liga, Cristiano or Lionel Messi?
Well, didn't Ronaldo win like? All right, so if we're talking about La Liga, are we including Champions League, or you just mean like the time period?
That's La Liga. Champions League, Ronaldo wins that by hand.
La Liga has to be Messi. La Liga has to be Messi.
Has he won so many titles there?
He's won so many titles, and just like he's very fundamental. You can see Barcelona struggle a lot without Messi.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah,
they depend on him too much sometimes.
They really do, and it's just not. It's not even about the play style, the way they like move the ball and everything. It's just like they're just used to Messi being there forever. So like the few moments that he's not there, like they struggle.
For sure. I mean, they do. But yeah, but Champions League, it sounds like you already would select Ronaldo hands down.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have to think about it.
He won 5 Champions League, right?
Yeah. I think he won 3 in a row, or at least 2 in a row.
Yeah, Real Madrid. 2 in a row, and then they lost one year, and then they won the year after. Yeah, well, it's crazy, dude. He won 4 with Real Madrid and then 1 with Manchester United, right?
Yes, you're right. So that shows you that it's not just the club; it's more like a him factor.
And then Messi only won 3 or 4.
It's gotta be under 3. There's no way he's got 4.
Unless he won it. I don't know. We can always double check it later.
Messi's a 4-time Champions League winner.
I think he won it earlier when he still wasn't like one of the. Oh yeah. Ronaldinho was playing still.
But now we're gonna jump into the last topic of the podcast. So, Martin, you are a big and diehard Newcastle United fan. So, tell me a little bit about that. Why Newcastle United? What's that? Why is that your favorite team?
I don't know, man. I mean, I've always been a fond supporter of DC United back here in the States. I love DC United. I grew up in DC. 202 was my area code. I mean, you really can't go wrong with them. But the MLS wasn't fun. It was very boring to watch and very dry. My dad was a Barcelona fan, watched them. And then I've always really enjoyed the Premier League. And at some point, like when I was a kid, I remember watching them when they used to have this legendary player named Alan Shearer, who was like this. To me, he's the GOAT of like British soccer. I mean,
he is. He's really good. He's a legend.
270 plus goals in the Premier League. Harry Kane's not even close yet. Wayne Rooney is like under him by like 50 goals. Like you get the gist I'm making.
Yeah.
And then I just fell in love with them. The most legendary game I'll ever remember is I think it was back in 2011 or it was like 2011 or 2009 when they were playing against Arsenal, and it was a 4-4 draw, and that was the craziest game I ever saw at St. James Park. They were home grounds. But I love them, dude. I've been supporting them through their promotion, relegation, through the shitty owner Mike Ashley. But I heard we might be getting a new takeover, so I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, I heard about that too, and it's gonna be a lot of profit and like revenue for you guys to have. And like I keep reading on Bleacher Report, people are making all these rumors now that like, oh, you guys are gonna sign this person, oh, you guys are gonna like buy these players, oh, you guys are gonna loan this, that, this. Like it's finally because the struggle for me being a Premier League fan myself and seeing like the situation with you guys and the owner and how he never wants to spend money, like it's finally something positive going to your guys' direction that I'm very happy about.
I mean, for sure, Mike Ashley is a dude. I could say a lot of words, but I don't think we need to express them on this channel. The main point is he's horrible.
He's like the Knicks owner. He's like the James Dolan of soccer, and that's how I view it. Me being a Knicks fan and understanding the severity of the issue.
He's been the owner for the last 12 years, and since he bought this organization, yeah, we've hit some great milestones, but we haven't really won anything. Like
Okay.
we survive or we get relegated. That's all it is. It's not fun as a fan, but recently we made some big purchases. We bought Miguel Almirón from Atlanta.
I love him, bro. He was at Atlanta United.
He's finally grown. He's been at the club for a year and a half now. And then we got Joe Latin. He hasn't really done much offensively, but he's a team player. And, it was a good move. We got him from Germany, from Hoffenheim. He was our new
I know who he is. Yeah.
He was our most expensive purchase and under Mike Ashley's, reign as an owner.
How much was it?
I think about 45 mil, something like that. I mean, it was like 55, something like that. It was a lot. It was the most that Mike Ashley's ever allowed the manager to, pursue. Like even when we had Rafa Benitez, who the fans adore, he wasn't even allowed to get that much. We have this new name, Steve Bruce. He's a Magpie, which basically means he's a local of Newcastle, and he's one for the club. But he did coach our rival club, Sunderland, which was a big stink for us. But you know what? Sunderland is having a rough time.
They're not doing anything in their life right now. Sunderland's what in the championship right now?
Nah, they're in the third bottom league of England.
Oh wow! I did not even know they felt that bad.
Yeah, dude, it's like Portsmouth back when they were in the Premier League. It just happens, man. Poor management of the club. But back to Newcastle. If this takeover happens, it'd be good. The dude is a Saudi Arabian prince or something like that, and he's like net worth is $320 billion. I mean, why does the Premier League not want that?
Yeah. I feel like the deal is going to be accepted. I feel like it's just going to, especially during the time of a pandemic. Like huh?
It's the best time to buy.
That's what I mean. So I feel like they should do it and approve it because like it would be good for like the Premier League to have another team come up because they already like the last team in British soccer that had like a good takeover that they had a good like come up like Wolves. Like
they did well, yeah.
They're doing these, and last year they finished like what 8th or 9th or 7th in the table, and that for like a newly promoted team in any league in Europe, that's amazing.
It is, but it's almost not as good as Leicester City though that won the title.
Bro, the Leicester City story, that's another thing. Like that's a whole nother level of crazy. Because I remember when that was happening live, and me as a Manchester City fan seeing us like. It was just insane overall. Like you never expected. Like the betting odds were crazy on it, and then like people were saying if Leicester City win the title, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and people had to regretted their decisions, yo.
No, I agree, man. I mean, it's crazy, but I really hope we get this takeover. I mean, Sheffield United in England hasn't had a takeover. They've been doing well. Wolves had their takeover. It's paying off dividends. I mean, we're gonna have a couple, co-chairs in this takeover, but the main one is this Prince of Saudi Arabia, and he wants to bring in some players. I mean, we've been linked to Edison Cavani, Miape. I mean, we've been linked to all sorts of players, but the real thing is, do we want the big names, which would be hard to attract, or do we want
that's
all
a good
names
that's a
that
good
potential?
Yeah, I feel like you guys should just do like This is not a good example. When Liverpool sold Luis Suarez and they bought like 10, 11 players in, like you guys should just do like go for quantity about players that might not be the biggest names, but they're still either decent or have potential to be great.
I agree. I agree. Have you seen the New York Red Bull team in Germany? What are they called?
RB Leipzig.
Yeah, Leipzig. They're a money club. Most of the German, community out there hates them. But
They
that's
hate them because they were built up of like the money, like you said, and like in German traditional soccer, people
we don't
hate
do
that.
that.
It's all about like staying to the roots and all that.
Hmm.
That's interesting that you pointed out because I did know that because they bought their way up to the top and like people in Germany just boo them and aren't very fond of them because of that.
But dude, they're really good.
But they're really good. They got a couple young promising players that get always linked to like the bigger clubs in Europe.
I mean, listen, the Red Bull Academy is crazy. I would never have thought they would be that good, but like the way it works in Germany, you had to detach the name so they couldn't call themselves New York Red Bulls like in New York.
Hmm.
The Red Bulls are in New York. They have a great academy there. You have like players like Adams, who now plays for Leipzig in Germany. Leipzig's your next one, and then your last one is Salzburg, the one in Austria that had that dude that plays.
Salzburg, yeah, I know.
What's his name? The Denmark kid, the Danish kid.
Joseph Folsom.
Not not you have Odegaard that plays for Real Sociedad. What's the other kid's name?
Danish.
The one who scored all the goals for Borussia Dortmund.
It's a midfielder, right?
It's like Erling.
Oh, Hanlon, Erling Hanlon, the striker, the
Yeah,
striker.
hang on, that kid. He came from the Red Bull Academy. I mean, that stuff's insane.
I did not know he was a Red Bull product. That's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, dude. Didn't you remember when they played against Liverpool and they lost? No, they won because they scored that goal. Don't you remember?
I remember that he got the game winner. He's a stud, yo, and he's only been playing for very little, like in like the top tier, or like actually like starting like getting consecutive like playing time and stuff. And he's only like 18, 19 years old, so it's pretty
Yeah.
impressive too. It's like
He's like the
Mbappe,
next
like
Mbappe.
Mbappe. It's like an Mbappe situation. Mbappe came up like rapidly, and then like the World Cup came around, and then like yeah,
Yeah, dude, that was dope that he got to win a World Cup though.
pretty much like he was like the star of the team too. Being 19 years old, 20 years old, whatever he is.
No, he was really good. Him and Griezmann.
Hmm. I don't know how to feel about Griezmann after the whole the decision, whatever you want to call it, where he did all that baloney. Oh, I'm staying in Atletico Madrid, and then they bought him like one transfer window after. It was like, what?
Well, yeah, I mean, but that new replacement, João Felix, do you think he's going to be the next Cristiano?
He has potential to be the next Cristiano Ronaldo. He's really good at a young age too. That's the
Yeah.
one thing I love about soccer. Like mostly, you can tell if a player's gonna be like world class if they're like good from the bat. You know what I mean? It doesn't like.
So,
Uh,
question as a Newcastle fan, if Newcastle had their takeover and the money went through, who would you recommend they take? Would you take Holland, Meape, or João Felix?
well, I feel like Holland would be the cheapest one out of them two, because like it's PSG who owns Mbappe, and then João Felix is Atletico Madrid. No, actually, I don't know. It's between I'd say João Felix and Holland, because like if I was like the manager for Newcastle United, I wouldn't even try to go for some like just go for like one person that would take over like more than 50% of the budget that we have.
True, true. That's fair. And then here's the last question. So they've been linked with a couple managers to bring the club. The two big names is Alexandrini, the ex-Juventus manager, who helped them win all their titles, and Mauricio Pochettino, who took Tottenham to the final and lost.
I'm not a big fan of Pochettino, honestly. I didn't like what he did back in. I'm stupid. I'm thinking about Pellegrini. Wow. Okay, my bad. All right.
You good?
No,
You good?
but I know who Pochettino is though. He's the guy for Spurs. Okay, he was the guy for
Yeah.
Spurs. I mean, I feel like Pochettino would be a good person for Newcastle then, because he's got like the success factor, and like at least he was
Yes.
able to take a squad up there. I don't know about the guy who used to work for Juventus, because it's Juventus. Like I feel like they have the groundwork laid upon for him. So it's like it's kind of like it's like for Zinedine Zidane in Real Madrid. Like sure, he took them to like 3 straight Champions League or how many times. Well, like it's Real Madrid. At the end of the day, you have to prove yourself with like lesser talent, in my opinion, to like show that you're actually that good of a manager slash coach.
True. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
But if I was the manager for Newcastle, I would do something like the likes of get like someone from Ajax. You just need someone
Mm.
from Ajax. First off, that's how you start. Get someone from Ajax. Get like one of these like wonder kids from the MLS that's like coming up. There's definitely gotta be someone. Like you gotta get someone from one of the lower leagues in the tier of the pyramid, like hierarchy or whatever you want to like call it. And then get a couple of like the younglings from like a team like Barcelona, like a Carlos Alenia, like at their midfielder, or get
I heard
someone from
Barca's
like
trying to sell him.
Barca.
Yeah, there's not enough room in the squad anymore because they're trying to bring other kids in.
That's oof. So yeah, they should. Cause I heard that Barcelona's just trying to clean house now because they need money for like because of the pandemic, right?
Yep, and for Neymar.
All right, that's a good point too. But
Isn't it
yeah,
one
you
name?
should definitely target people from Barcelona because like if I would go for the people that like are disgruntled stars, like someone like Cavani that at this point he's like, all right, Mbappe and Neymar are taking my shine. I want to go somewhere else. Go for someone like Cavani. Sure, he's at the later part of his career, but he still performs. I don't
That's
know. Did you see the World Cup like Uruguay how they did? Cavani was killing it for them, yo, and
he
like 30
was. He
something.
was. He made Suarez look kind of soft.
Bro, he really did. He was like the one that was carrying that team in the World Cup until they ran into France.
For sure, for sure. And we're talking about strikers. If they bring Mauricio Pochettino, the next link was going to be that he was going to drag Harry Kane to Newcastle United because Harry Kane doesn't want to leave England, and he's on a mission to beat Alan Shearer's record. And the main message is, what better way to break his record than for the club that he played for?
That's a wow. So you think that's a possibility then?
Could be. And Harry Kane, yeah, he's not a really fast player. The only difference between him and Alan Shearer is Alan Shearer could send some bangers, free kicks into the back of the net. He would have like Zlatan back in his prime.
Harry Kane's not much of a free kick taker, right?
He doesn't do that. But if you could transform Harry Kane into that type of monster, he would be a beast.
Okay.
He doesn't have speed like Aubameyang. He's not that fast. He is strong like Diego Costa, but he's that's the part that kills him.
Yeah. One person that I saw you guys were linked with is Timo Werner.
Yes, I saw Timo, but
I think that'd be a good addition because he's already pretty solid and then he's still very young, so he can grow.
we get Werner.
And you guys have some pieces that I like already, like the left winger. I'm gonna butcher the name, Alex Saint Maximin or something like that.
Oh yeah, Alex Saint Maximi. He's my favorite dude. Number 10. He's the captain. The dude came in with the swagger. He wearing Gucci headband. Everybody was down. He was very ignorant, like Balotelli. Like he was party kid.
Okay.
But him and our manager Bruce have gone along so well that he's done what's required, and he's been a team player.
Okay. Do you guys still have Chancel and Memba?
No, Chancellor and Memba was a player that we let slip through a crack, and that was a couple of years ago. Now he plays for Wolfsburg in Germany, and he's a phenomenal right back for Switzerland.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember.
And Memba, the guy from Congo. My apologies.
For a second.
I'm thinking about Buba. My apologies.
Mabuba played for you guys though, right?
He did back in the day, but he's one world class right back.
He's in Wolfsburg. Okay.
Andre Yedlin, the American, who I really love too.
You guys got Jetlook. He's a good American player. He's been solid at least his whole career too.
I mean, he was a sub at the Spurs, and then he was really good for us as a starter.
Mm-hmm. I feel like if I were to build like the Newcastle team with this takeover, like say like you could go on FIFA and like add the whole budget now and start from scratch, right? Mm-hmm. You would have to build. I would buy like someone like Timo Werner, a really good striker, and then try to build it from the back up. Because you already have some good attacking pieces that can do their job. You know what I mean? They can do their job.
We got a world-class keeper. Our keeper is our best player on the team. Martin Dubravka, hands down. Was for him, we would have been relegated. The kid blocks every single goal. He's Slovenian. The only issue, he's like 30 years old now.
He's that old?
Yeah, man. We got him later part of his career. I think we picked him up when he was 28.
Because I know who you're talking about. Their goalkeeper's pretty good. And I remember earlier years, like, he wasn't that good. And then, like, I'll go onto FIFA and see his rating. I'll be like, oh, wow. And then look up his stats. And he's progressed. He's one of those people that really progressed for you guys.
Oh, for sure. I mean, players that we really let slip through a crack from Newcastle United was like Suzuka that plays for Tottenham. fabulous player. And
Yeah.
then Jorginho Williama.
Yo, you guys had Florian Talvian, right?
Yeah, but he sucked, dude. When he played in England, he was crap. But now he's so good at Marseille. I don't know what the hell happened. Like all of a sudden, he's in the French league and he's a beast again.
It's because he's home. It's because he's
I
home.
guess so.
Yeah.
And then you remember we had Logic Remy?
Like, oh, my
He
boy,
was a beast too.
me. Yo, he's
And
in
then we
France
had
now. He's in
Dembaba and Chise.
who?
Do you remember Dembaba or Chise?
Demba Bachise. Like he was Senegalese, right?
Yeah, Senegal. Yes, he's from Senegal. One dude
Like
was,
the strike. He was a striker.
yep.
Yeah, I remember him. He was an OG for you guys too.
Yeah, one of the ghosts the streets remember. And you remember Ben Arfa from France?
Ben Arfa. I forgot Ben Arfa was
Yeah,
a
he was Newcastle
Newcastle
too.
United player too. Check Tiote. Rest in peace, right?
Yeah, rest in peace. And that's the dude that made me fall in love with the club. That 4-4 game against Arsenal, Czech Tiote. Well, that was a screamer.
Oof. I think I remember more or less the goal he did, but like, yeah. Check Tiote was a monster in the midfield.
For sure. He stopped everything. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. The only player I did not like back in the day was Joey Barton. That dude was a piece of
Joey Barton is
he was
not
racist,
nice,
man, and ignorant and just all the worst.
Mhm. The other player that comes to mind, Newcastle, like in the 2010s, is Daryl Janmaat, the Dutch right back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
He would send crazy free kicks all the time.
yeah, I remember that. I remember that from him. But overall, I feel like this takeover could be something good for Newcastle if it gets approved, and hopefully it does, because like
I hope so.
there needs to be more competitiveness. I mean, the Premier League already is like one of the most competitive leagues in the soccer world, but like adding another team to be fighting for like the top 6 spot, that'd be good for the league, in my opinion.
I agree. I mean, like, soccer is no longer what it is anymore. No one cares about loyalty. No one cares about
Yeah.
following the roots anymore. It's all about money, 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 money. Like, who
hmm
has money? You got to be like Manchester City. You got to be like the Red Bull Academy. You got to be like these big money companies, or you have to have a lot of co-owners like Liverpool does, Barcelona, Real Madrid. It's hard now. And even if you have the history, it's hard to get back into the competitiveness of it.
That's a good point. That's because of the structure of the sport. That's basically because the structure of sport. Because it's not like in American sports. Like that's the issue with the MLS. It's too Americanized and as a structural thing.
Correct. But it's good sometimes because then it makes things fairer. There's more equity in the.
That's the thing. That's the one issue with the like European soccer. There's no equity and there's no fair. There's a lot of parity. Like it's like Golden State in the NBA Finals every year. So what? Wait, you're complaining about the Warriors making the finals every year? Have you not seen Juventus and Bayern Munich and PSG been outright dominant in their respective countries year after year after year? So that's a good point. So I mean, yeah.
I agree, but the beauty about there being a lack of equity in soccer, it at least gives you a sport for the consumers to see a Cinderella stories. Just like college basketball or college sports.
Mm-hmm.
Sports are like, there is no money tied to it, but you can almost agree and disagree that there is an equity because some colleges have more money and they can get better scouts.
That's the thing. That's the one thing. Like, that's a good comparison I've never had thought about until you just said it now. Because in college basketball, it's all about who's got the best recruits and who's got the history or who's like the program that, all right, we're going to get you in the spotlight. So you know you're going to want to so you can go to the NBA. So that's a good point.
You can get to the next level.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But
If you're like a Redskins fan or like a Patriots fan or anything like that, you know, you're going to be expecting the same turnout and you'll hit, you know, really bogus, you know, periods, and then you hit peaks of success.
Mm-hmm.
You know, out to the Redskins for making great draft picks. But I mean, all sports are different. And the beauty about soccer is that anything can change. And when it does change and it's your team, you're in a high that you can't break.
I cannot not said that any better than you just said. That's really well said. That's the truth. And that's the beauty of soccer. Even though there's no parity, it just makes it more for like the headlines and the storylines to be even more beautiful. It does.
Yes, of course.
So, Martin, we have come to the end of the podcast. Is there any final thoughts you want to say to the people listening?
No, man. If you are interested in looking for a new team to support, Newcastle's the team. And just want to do a big shout out to my Redskins out here in DC. We got Chase Young. We got ourselves Little Moss. We're going to do well. I'm looking forward to this upcoming season. Hopefully we get sports back on and we do what's safe for us as fans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Redskins are looking like they got some future bright spots for them. thanks to the draft. Thank you, Martin. Again, can't stress it enough. It was a pleasure having you on the podcast. I had a good time talking to you about soccer, and thank you for joining us. And you're more than welcome to join us in any other episode that you want.
Appreciate it, man. You take care.
You too, my brother. This is Daniel, and this is it. Peace, people. So.